Hello, this is Chloe, and I'm participating in Ethics 31 Days of Tarot for 2017, and I'm doing day 20 and probably 21, just to group them together. Let's see. Day 20 is favorite pop culture tarot representations in movie or a TV show. Well, I don't know if they're my favorite. The ones I noticed this year, or that I am aware of, is one, the Witches of East End. It has, within the first 3 or 4 shows, the aunt on that show reads some tarot cards to see what the likely outcome of their actions will be, who will be affected, that kind of thing. And unfortunately, I don't know what tarot deck is used. The angle that they showed the tarot deck on that show wasn't very helpful for being able to tell. But if you want to take a go for it, I'm not that familiar with more older, like the Marcelle, is that what it's called? I'm not as familiar. I'm mostly familiar with Wider Waite and some of its clones. And when they show major cards, that doesn't necessarily lend you to seeing the pips and knowing, and that's how you most of the time know if it's a Marcelle, the older style of tarot cards. So the other one is in Penny Dreadful. The Miss Ives on that show is a psychic, a sensitive medium, and she reads cards. So tarot cards. And they're black with white or silver. I don't know what the deck is, but it's gorgeous. And she uses it in several episodes. And then my favorite, now you don't see it, it's in a video game called Dragon Age Inquisition. It's actually the form that they're giving you information that you collect to gain experience and knowledge of the world that you're in. In the menu, you will go there and you will be able to see these cards, and then when you flip on them, they show a picture of whatever they're representing, and then there's a description to the side of whatever they're talking about. So each major character has their own card in the major arcana. There's scenes with stuff from the game. It has that, and they produced a tarot deck that was part of their collector's edition of selling the game, with some collectible memorabilia with it, and they included this awesome Dragon Age tarot deck. And I am just hoping and praying they allow it out for the general public to be able to have an edition as well. But I'm kind of doubting it, and I'm dreading trying to look up if anybody are on sale on eBay or anything like that, because it'll just break my heart if I can't afford it. So yeah, Dragon Age Inquisition. It's the third release of the game. It's a video game. You can play it on Xbox One, and you can see in the menu what the pictures of the tarot deck look like. And there is a couple of YouTube videos floating around. I think Gamer MD, I'm trying to think of the number, 83. Well, there's a gamer who has bought that set with the cards in it. I don't remember if she shows the cards, but she does like individually show and flip through the cards, but she does show the deck kind of for a few moments in her YouTube video. I'll try to see if I can find it. If I don't have the information right away, I'll add it whenever I can. So yeah, those are the 3 ways I know of tarot being represented, aside from some possible older movies lists. Evidently, Tarot Totes has a list of older movies in which tarot or other oracles have been used in the movies, in the shows and the episodes. So if you want to look for more, you can possibly look there. But I was looking for something current, and those are the most current I could find. Witches of East End and the Penny Dreadful series, and like I said, the Dragon Age Inquisition. All right. So the next part I wanted to talk about was, do you read your little white books? It's day 21. Do you read your little white books, Tarot and Oracle Guidebooks? How do you use them? And what do you do when the information seems to contradict the reading? Okay, so yes, I read the white books, sort of. If it's really, when you get a deck that has a totally different system, like dreaming, Dreams of Gaia, which has created a new system for the major arcana and the court cards. When they do that, you kind of need at some point to take a peek at the guide, right? The little white books are usually basic meanings. It is kind of helpful for if you're confused on which one's doing air. If looking at the cards and looking at the symbols, you can't automatically tell which suit is air and which is fire, then yeah, I'll look at it for that, for sure. And then there's, like I showed in my Sacred World Oracle, that one had a white book, but it was actually quite substantial, where it gave like a paragraph of information and just a few sentences. In that situation, yeah, I read them. Some of them I read at least once, if not all the way through, for key points that I feel like I need to know. And if I start to feel like there's a pattern I'm noticing, or if I can figure it out from there, then I don't go any further. I'll maybe do that. And as I mentioned before, I'm going back and going through and looking. I like to see if they have any new spreads that I want to try out, to see if I even want to use it. But most of the time I do tend to go with intuitive spreads instead. And then, so yes, I do use guidebooks, but not like exactly how the person says to use their oracle or tarot or whatever. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that I want to get the Tarot of the Mermaids if I don't get, or Mermaid Tarot, whichever it is. Llewellyn / Lescarbo is putting out one with a really nice back now that isn't just like a reprint of one of the cards on the back. And I know they're a little bit boobified, but I love the tones and color that I've seen from a couple of flip throughs, and I would love to trim one so I could cut off the words on the bottom and have a nice little, it's supposed to be a good, aside from being mermaid theme, it's supposed to be really good, a wider weight, falling in line with that. And I am finding that I'm having a little bit of trouble with the tarot in the sense that if I can't use it as basically an oracle with a loose keeping of what I remember and what clicks in my head when I'm using tarot, that yeah, it's a little challenging for me. It isn't that I can't do it, especially if I have a good connection with the person I'm reading for or the question I'm asking, but I feel like I kind of need to do a restart. And I have the Shadowscapes and I have the Gaia Dreams of Gaia, but the Dreams of Gaia is like a kind of a remake of almost something in between tarot and other kind of oracle, and that will work for me. I'm sure it will. But to be setting myself in the tarot system, I don't know, because like Shadowscapes has such fine details and it's really tiny, and I love the look of it. But I'm feeling like one of the reasons I picked Shadowscapes was I chose it over one of the Paulina Cassidy decks. And then the other part was I really wanted a nice representation of mermaids, and I felt Shadowscapes at that point in time was the better choice for me, because I had already gotten the Paulina Cassidy oracle cards. So, but I still had longed and kind of kept looking at the Tarot of Mermaids, and one of the reasons I didn't get it is because I didn't like the backs of the cards. Now they have one with a newly designed back that I think is lovely, and it's reversible and all that. And so now I was reading, and I would want to read the white book on that one because they explain the details of the cards, even though it's not huge explanations and it is just a little white book. So that would be one that I would read to help understand the cards. Although I am told that if you put it right next to a rather regular wider weight, you can totally see that it's a wider weight based mermaid deck. Okay, so that's some of the ways I would use them. How do I use? Okay, do I read them? Yes. How do I use them? Yes. Okay, and one of the things for sure is the unique spreads you can sometimes get with some of them. Now, not all the white books have it. It's more like the oracle decks who have them a bit more, or say the companion books that come with the larger kits have a few more additional spreads than, say, the little white books, but some of them do, and I'd want to look for that. Otherwise, because I don't like to get stuck on the book, I don't mind using it for my own private practice. That's another thing. When I'm reading for myself, sometimes I need the guide to take me out of my emotional, like get the meanings there and get it in my face, and then I'll make some notes on the meanings that are sticking out. But I'm trying to make sure I'm not just reading for what I want to come up, that I'm reading the messages that are really coming through. And so I sometimes use the guidebook as, okay, this is what I'm feeling when I say that card, and that's wonderful, but what is the meanings that the guide says? So maybe I'm seeing like a really, what's really being said and not just what I want to see, okay? So that's, I use it as a check. Am I really seeing it, or is this what it's really saying? And of course, I know that the meanings are not set in stone with what they've created. You could have definitely other feelings and such. So, but it's just one way to check it, kind of. What if the information seems to contradict the reading? Even the creators of most guidebooks will say you need to go with how you feel. And I would question how you're viewing the card or the deck or the spread that you're using. And sometimes, especially if you're combining intuitive information / empathic information or whatever psychic / intuitive gift that you have, then you need to see, again, is it pure wisdom coming from your intuitive hits, or is it a emotional ego want response that you're getting, okay, opposed to the guidebook definition? Because even the people who create them, like I said before, will say, hey, if you have your own definition growing and it seems to be a pattern and it comes up and up and up and it keeps coming forward, then there's something to that definition or that meaning, and you should give it some credit or figure out how it actually works and find out what that pattern or what that meaning really is about, okay? So another thing is sometimes I'll pull out a few extra cards. Or if I know the deck is based off the Rider-Waite, then I will find a Rider-Waite book. I have a few. I have this one book. Hold on one moment. The Magical Course of Tarot. I love this book. It's could be used by beginners. I feel like there's enough here that even experienced users can use it. It's nice and meaty. I love the little pictures and meanings that come under the pictures in this one. But then they also have a shortcut intuitive method based off of using numerology, color knowledge, like violet means spiritual mastery, protection, healing, white, purity, brilliance, renewal. And then they have some key terms like, okay, key symbols, individualized symbols. So angels, animals, butterfly, moon, all those things. They have these little shortcut lists here. So if you're looking for a way to study, I mean, I know we're talking about the little white book, but if I don't find the little white book that's telling me like some regular, like Rider-Waite Smith definitions, I tend to go to this book, okay, instead, and it's A Magical Course Tarot by Michelle Morgan, and I love this book. I do have some other tarot books, but I've had this book since like early 2000s, and I even used it when I created intuitive-based and intuitive-based tarot workshops or classes when I was doing those. I don't do them anymore, but I may again. But I feel like I need to get more familiar and more settled with tarot again before I even try to do that. It was a number of years ago. Okay. So, yeah, that's all I have to say on those two, the pop culture and tarot. And so that's day 20 and day 21, and I hope you found this interesting. If you have any comments or questions, you know what to do down below. And I've really been enjoying this challenge, and I'm looking forward to the next few, the last few days we have of it. Not that we're at there yet, but we're getting over halfway through this, and I'm very excited. Bye-bye.